Hi everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma, your host. We're here today with Revan Herfy of the Golden Key Group.
Correct.
How are you, sir?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for this fancy mug,
No
fancy
problem.
beautiful mug.
No
Cheers to
problem.
you.
Cheers, cheers. We got you something else in here too.
Oh, okay. We'll unbox it on my YouTube channel. Oh, this is my YouTube channel. What the hell am I talking about?
There you go.
All right, so why don't you get into kind of your backstory, how you got here, you know, what's going on in Golden Key Group and all the exciting stuff.
Yeah, so it's short, I'm going to give you the short version of the story. I was born and raised in Iraq. I came here when I was 16 years old. We moved, my family immigrated to Windsor. Mm-hmm. And in 2015, I got married and I moved to Michigan. I moved to Michigan like before I got married. My family had the status.
Yeah.
And then they moved here in 2006, but I stayed in Windsor. I was running a couple of businesses there. Moved to Michigan, and we own a retail business in Lansing. We have a small grocery store, which we still own until today.
Oh, congrats.
And moved to the west side, and I started learning. When I first bought my first home, I fell in love with real estate. And I always had in the back of my mind, because I knew I love retail, and it's kind of where my background comes from, but I always knew that, to kind of expand on my service and learning the things that I know about business, I figured put it to better use and sell more expensive items, right?
Yeah.
So that's what got me into real estate, and I fell in love with it, and I was a realtor for about 3 years. And then we opened a company, and we were brokered under somebody else. And then last year, end of March, we were full out independent brokerage in the city of Troy, Michigan.
So you say we, who's we?
So me and I have a business partner, Noor Karana. Big shout out to Noor. Noor started his real estate journey about a couple of years after I became an agent.
Okay.
And then he was with me ever since. And we were just basically practicing real estate, learning together. Eventually we opened. So the team, it's a little bit unique situation. So when I had the team, I was kind of by myself, and he was kind of doing managing the agents, and we were coaching them together.
Okay.
We did really well for a couple of years as a team, and one day I'm like, I'm done paying all these fees. Let's do something. And are you in? We went to Bahama Breeze. We had a drink.
Bahama Breeze, nice.
We chopped it down, and it was just one conversation, because he's on the same wavelength as I am.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
Me and him, we have the same mindset.
And so is he camera shy? Is that why he's not here today?
Yeah, we'll bring him in the next show for sure.
All right, great. So that's how Golden Key Group got started, right?
Yeah.
Where is it today? What's it doing?
So a year ago we started. We had about 3 or 4 agents, and
you said 1 year. This is a year
it's been
ago.
1 year. So last year March we started. We opened the company. We opened the doors. We purchased a building, so the Concord building in Troy, and that was the door opener for me. And I'm like, you know what? We might as well just go full out, build a whole office.
You said the Concord building?
Yeah, it's in Troy, Michigan.
How many square feet is that place?
20,000.
Wow,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a couple of business partners in there too. Big shout out to my good friend and business partner Cora Camo, and my big sister Lamia Fakuri. She owns Michigan Physical Therapy. They also have offices in the building.
Awesome. Okay, so you were talking.
We purchased the building. So me and my 2 partners, we bought that building, and then I told Noor about the idea about opening the office in there. Noor agreed, so we opened the office there, and we designed it from A to Z. So everything you see, the decor, the signs, even to the millimeter, we literally outlined the whole entire office.
Nice.
Yeah, so we did it on the computer, and we got a contractor, which I want to give him a big shout out. They do all my contracting work, all my commercial and residential properties, A&M Renovations. Ivan and Sivan, they're great people.
Are they on the show too?
They are not on the show. You should have them.
Ivan was, I think.
Was he?
I think so. What's
A&M
his last name?
Merrim.
Ivan Merrill.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
I haven't seen him. I watched a lot of your episodes.
Okay.
I haven't seen him, but yeah, it's somebody that definitely should be.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, they're business minded, and they do the best job. So after they built our office from A to Z, and it came out. I mean, everybody. I don't know if you haven't been to our office
I have
yet.
not. No, guilty
gotta-
as charged.
You gotta come and have a drink with me.
I will.
Because we have
I
a little bar
definitely
area.
Oh,
you know?
nice.
We'll have a good time. It's a beautiful office, very professional environment, but we wanted to create something more than just, offices and doors and whatnot. So we expanded, like we got to the point where we critique everything so well, however, to the benefit of the overall vision,
Of course.
So we even expanded the hallways. So instead of making them narrow, like 36 or 48 inches, we made them like bigger. It's almost like 5 feet hallways. So when you walk through the brokerage, looks like it's a big open space. And we chose very natural elements. So when you walk in there, you automatically feel like you're welcomed.
This place sounds amazing. I hope it lives up to the hype.
And I won't say that.
Okay.
Ask our agents, see what they
nice.
say about it.
All right. And so what are some of the benefits? You started to say where it is.
Oh, yeah.
And
So naturally, 4 or 5 agents we started with. Our original agents, they're amazing, every single one of them. We had, I think, Mariana, Christina, and several others. There's too many. I don't want to. I don't want to miss anybody.
Yeah,
but they were our first agents, and Martino and Delan, they came into the group, and then we just kept thriving. So through referrals, so we haven't yet explored kind of recruiting yet. So we haven't recruited anything yet because we've been working
word of
on
mouth.
It's all been word of mouth.
Okay.
It's been natural organic growth, and I attribute that to our agents because they're the ones that are talking about us.
Yeah.
We haven't been saying anything, and we've been building up ever since. We're building all the systems, the back end systems, because to run a brokerage, to run a business in general, there's a lot to it.
Sure.
It's not just opening your doors and.
Yeah.
So to run a brokerage is completely different because you got to offer the agents not only incentives, but you got to offer them tools
Yeah.
to be different, to
Tools
thrive.
and resources. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what we have in there right now. Broker management system, office administrator, marketing, coaching, leads. It's a big deal for a lot of agents, especially the newcomers right now, starting out. There's many big teams in Michigan. Compared to other states, we have a lot of huge, they call them mega teams, and those mega teams, they thrive on leads.
Yeah.
What I try to do is I want to tell everybody, I want your lead business to accommodate to only 30% of your total business. I want 70% to be organic, and that's what we do is we teach them on how to become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So not necessarily just to sell and purchase properties, but also how to invest in themselves. Kind of like what we have been doing successfully is, invest into properties. It shocks me that a lot of people in the real estate industry, they don't invest in real estate.
Yeah.
So it's a very important thing that I coach every single one of them on how to do. And this is why we also promote commercial real estate, because commercial is very important too. Investment properties come in a series of things, commercial, residential, all kind of different stuff.
We'll get into the commercial stuff in a minute. I just want you to kind of give the agents out there that aren't currently with you just a glimpse of what they would get if they joined your team. And this is not a recruiting piece. This is just an educational piece.
So they know about who we are.
Yep.
So by no means we're associated with anything that is called discount. We offer great incentives to all the agents that are out there, all the real estate agents that are paying hefty fees in other places, and they are not finding success, whether it's training, whether it's getting coached, or even finding business out there and how to do it. Let us know. We'll have a coffee and we'll explain to you exactly how you can accomplish that. And this is coming from a person who was in the real estate business. I was the foot soldier, and I managed to do that and thrive in an era where, most people were coming out of the business.
Yeah.
So I did really well for several years, and now my whole job, I barely sell real estate. I don't do any residential. Primarily, what I do is commercial, and it's kind of like our own deals and house deals that I help our agents, and I assist them and I coach them on how to get business. And give them all the tools, give them all the coaching and the technology, the most important thing, and the marketing. Everybody that knows Golden Key, they know that we market heavily.
Yeah. What are some of the components in the technology? without giving away the
Yeah.
secret sauce.
So there's no secret. It's when you spend money
Yeah.
into your business is naturally going to have those resources. So most brokerages that are subscription brokerages, which is what we are, we're not a conventional, so we're not partners in these guys' business. Most brokerages, they charge 10, 20, 30, 40%, whatever the case may be. We don't do that. We're a subscription-based brokerage.
What does that mean?
So with us, you don't have to share your wealth with us. If you earn $1,000, you keep $1,000. That's what we promote. We're 100% commission brokerage. So you pay your subscription fees to us every single month. There are monthly dues. You just pay your dues. They're very, very minimal. And we can share that over a coffee with any of the agents who are interested, because we have a whole presentation. And that presentation that we have is built to each agent that we bring in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
each presentation
Yeah,
is different.
custom fit.
So custom fit, 100%.
Yeah, there's not one
We
size
have-
fits all.
We have 3 different programs
Okay.
in the brokerage. So,
Yeah.
but the primary program, which is it's our 100% commission program, that is the program that I feel like it's best fit for all independent agents. Independent agents, yeah,
Okay.
that don't want to be on a team, don't want to be on the leads,
Right, right.
And we have a separate entity that handles that. We have a separate coach that deals with the leads and whatnot. But that's what we push, and it's a very minimal fee. Every month you pay it, but every single dollar that you earn from that commission, you get to
yours.
keep it.
So again, we went to 4 or 5 people to start. To what are you at today, if you want to share that number?
35 agents as of today, and we have a couple of teams that we've been working with. So I feel like by the end of the year, we're probably going to be at 50 plus agents.
Okay. And so you don't specifically work with any individual mortgage companies, but you wanted to shout out a few?
I want to shout out a couple of my good friends. First and foremost, Terry Kashaw with Connect Mortgage. I started working with Terry, probably my first 4 or 5 deals with Terry. And me and him, we had 2 or 3 years while I was in the business. That's somebody that I just want to shout him out. He's great in his business. He knows what he's doing. And
Yeah, he's Sharpie.
yeah, he's a sharp guy for sure, And me and him, we're still good friends. I want to definitely give a shout out to Q Loans, who are invested in the brokerage right now.
Okay.
So they do. We have a program that we run with them. They're also our business partners. And I also want to shout out Hermes Lending. They're good people and they do good business, and they also do a lot of business with our brokerage. Mark Jarbo was also one of my personal friends.
Good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I was on his show.
I done a lot of business with Mark too.
Yeah.
So when I was in the field, those are the people that I was dealing with. And Angela Keikos, actually, me and her, for about a year to 18 months, we did crazy business, and she's unbelievable. Something about Angela, she's 2 in the morning. I mean, I would text, I would text her. She's up and she does an incredible job. So these people, I was working with them for a very long time.
And I try not to put people on the spot and have them shout people out, because you always forget somebody. So if any
One more.
One more. I'm glad I remember.
One more.
Okay.
Rafi Sabag with Flagstar. Rafi actually does excellent work. Me and him, we've done business together, and he actually financed several of my properties as well. And he's a fountain of knowledge.
Okay.
He's a great person, so an excellent person to deal with, very professional. And he financed an out-of-state property that we own in Chicago as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, he's
And has he talked you out of any deals?
Rafi, no. Rafi's knowledgeable, and I kind of, it's weird. You can't really talk me out of a deal if I want to get involved in
Right,
it.
right. Okay, good.
Yeah, if I want to buy, if I'm gonna do my due
Yeah,
diligence.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind
right.
of,
And you know enough about the industry and the returns and the investment and all that other good stuff. That's
came from hard experiences.
yeah. Life, hard,
Exactly.
real life experiences.
Exactly.
So, what else about your team?
And so something that we promote and something I always talk about, when you walk into the office, it's a very vibrant, and that word gets thrown out a lot, the word culture,
Okay.
but not many people understand it. And the culture that we have, it's a very friendly, almost like a large family in our brokerage, which I love. I love going to the office. I don't know how many people can tell you they love going to work.
Yeah.
I really love going to the office. It's always a good time. I'm always talking to at least 10 to 20 people while I'm in there for the 5 or 6 hours that I'm in the office. If I'm not there, Noor's there.
Yeah.
So we always have somebody on there. And we're currently working with a coach that we want to hire, a full-time coach for the brokerage before we start like recruiting and whatnot. So we wanted to work all that in, so that way you have multiple incentives. And the more agents we recruit, the more incentives we provide. But just the environment that we have, man, everybody that walks in there, out of 10 meetings that I have, 8 agents end up signing in. So, I mean, I had an agent just sign on the spot, right on the spot. Big shout out to Michelle Sima. She signed right on the spot. She's like, that's it, sign me up. She didn't even leave the meeting. She's like, send me the contract right now.
Nice.
Yeah. And that happened about 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it must be pretty straightforward. Must be pretty clean, pretty easy to read, and
Yeah.
obviously you got a reputation that's second to none as far as ethics and
We're
and
very
all that
blessed
good
with that.
stuff. Yeah.
Very
Well,
blessed with
you were blessed and you've earned it. Right? So let's get into the commercial side.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about it, what it is, how it benefits people,
Absolutely.
what you actually bring to the table with your team.
So, as I mentioned to you, I've been in retail for a very long time. So I've already had kind of the experience when it comes to a commercial side of things.
Yeah.
And it came through signing leases, to learning certain terminology. So when I went and I actually took my real estate exam, a lot of the terminology, like the word chattel or, there's so many situs and like a bunch of stuff like easements and encroachments, all these things that I experienced already before I even took the real estate exam and before I became a realtor. I actually kind of like went through all that to begin with. So it wasn't a new experience for me, and it was very interesting that in the state of Michigan, you're allowed to legally sell real estate, even not as a licensed agent. And most commercial realtors, I don't want to call them realtors because they're not realtors, most commercial real estate brokers is what they call them, they're not licensed realtors. So they don't even have to take a class. They can just go and sign up under a company and they just can sell commercial real estate.
Really?
Yes.
That's it.
Very interesting fact. You probably never heard it before.
No.
That's the truth. So you can actually become a commercial agent without having to have a real estate license. So with that being said, all due respect to every single commercial real estate broker out there, I have a lot of great relationships and a lot of them are extremely knowledgeable. But I've also came across the other side where, they have no clue, And from my own business deals that I've done, just on a personal level, I've worked and I've came across people who have no clue on how a transaction is actually done, and they claim as they are, a commercial broker and whatnot. So being a realtor, selling commercial real estate is extremely, I would say you have always an upper hand because you actually have the education, as little as it is.
Yeah.
Me and a couple of my friends we always talk about that because you only need 40 hours to become a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Which is like, to me, I don't think that's fair. I think you need way more than that.
Should be more.
You need at least 120 hours just to get that, to absorb. It's a book that's like this thick. It's about 400 pages. If you're not savvy and you don't understand terminology and I mean, it's a big book, man, for you to digest that. I did it in a week.
Yeah.
I got my hours in 1 week.
So I think people will. I think it's a minimum, right? Because
No, it's 40 hours.
it's right. I get that it's 40 hours, but then there's still the experience and the studying and it's all that other stuff too.
I feel like you definitely need to do multiple, like there has to be some type of guideline because I've came across agents who lost and caused their clients a lot of hard, dude, you're purchasing, let's talk about something so simple as much as as little as a home.
Yeah.
It's your first time buying a house today.
Yeah, it's people's biggest
It's your
purchase
biggest
in their life
investment.
sometimes.
It's your biggest investment. You're literally giving your life. And a lot of people out there, they trust, well, I'm going to go with my brother-in-law. I'm going to go with my cousin, especially in our community.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't I don't dispute it. I earned my family's business. So I get all the business from my family, not because I'm their family, not by default.
Right.
I earned it because of my experience, because of my savviness, because of,
your commitment to your craft.
You have to earn that business. So in order for you to give business to your cousin or your brother-in-law, whatever, it's not them. They could cost you a lot of money if they don't know what they're doing. They could cost you your EMD if the deal goes south. They could cost you if they bring the wrong inspector and they don't have enough knowledge to know about the foundation or the roof.
Yeah.
Not saying that you need to have that information, but it's good to know.
Oh yeah, no, it's vital actually.
Absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely. This could cost you a lot of money and a lot of time. And if you don't know how to speak to the agent and especially if you have a good reputation, the agent on the other side of the deal, if you're representing the buyer, when you're talking to the listing agent, they're going to get excited to get your offer. Right? And if you don't know what you're doing, they'll be like, man, I might not even, I don't think we should take this offer.
This is not closing.
This is not closing.
This guy's a hack.
So that's what I want to say. So experience is important, but I also feel like education should be a little bit more than 40 hours. Let's get back to the commercial side, you know. So I had all this knowledge, and I was always intrigued by commercial real estate because naturally it's just bigger numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So my first
you went from Charms blow pops to $1 million homes to multi-million-dollar commercial projects.
I was selling $200,000 properties, and my first commercial deal that I did, I successfully closed, was a gas station on 9 Mile and Stevens.
Okay.
No, it's Hoover, Stevens and Hoover.
Okay.
So that was my first deal. So my uncle owned that gas station. They were trying to sell it. They had it listed with multiple brokers and whatnot. So I called him. I said, "You want to sell this thing?" He said, "Yeah." And ironically, so I had a system. I would literally go into every time I'd buy a gift to somebody, I always try to hit a different store. I go there and I say, "Listen, I need an expensive bottle because I'm gifting it as a closing gift."
Yeah.
So always the owners it's just a way of me meeting people because I'm new to this country. Like I moved here in 2015. I didn't have a lot of people. My sphere was small, so I wanted to grow my sphere, and I got to know everybody, and I had business cards with me all the time while working in the grocery store. So it was it was a challenge. But I started talking to the owner of the liquor store, and big shout out to Franken Liquor. It's my first commercial deal, and I talked to him, and he said, "Do you have gas stations for sale?"
Sure do.
I'm buying a bottle for a closing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I might have a gas station for sale, and we started talking, and he ended up buying that gas station. That was my first largest transaction at that time, and I'm like, this is easy. I already know this. I know the environmental.
Right.
I know the commercial brokers. I know several of them, and I was able to take the deal from A to Z. I was literally negotiating on behalf of the attorneys. So the attorneys call me like, "Hey, can you get this done?" And I was in between two attorneys.
Yeah.
If these guys were going at it, it would have been the deal would have been dead.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is not hard. And I sold 2 gas stations after that. I got into liquor stores. I started selling liquor stores, and then I got into the bigger stuff. I started getting calls on industrial buildings. I started getting calls on all kind of different stuff, mechanic shops and whatnot. And these deals, they don't show on the MLS. So when you're doing commercial, if they're not listed on MLS, they will never show in your history.
Right.
So a lot of commercial deals, which I tell that to all residential agents, they don't go on MLS. They go on different platforms. You have KUWTC, which is the largest commercial platform for real estate. KUWTC only does real estate, so anything property that's related to property sales and leases. And then you have big like LoopNet, which is it's another company as well.
Yep.
They have multiple different platforms as well. And they have, they deal primarily with businesses. There's buy, biz, sell. They're all subscriptions as well.
Right.
So if you're not doing the business, it's not worth it for you to subscribe.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you almost $1,500 a month in subscriptions. So I got the business, and I started subscribing to all these different platforms.
Yeah.
And we right now I do a lot of leases. I do a lot of businesses. We have a $4 million listing right now. That's a collision shop, from one of our agents. So I encourage all of our agents.
What city is that in case
It's in
people are
Detroit.
interested in.
It's in Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful business that makes a lot of money, and they specialize in trucks. So
Okay.
they have contracts with several. I can't mention the names of the companies, but they're like massive companies. So they have over 600 contracts with box trucks.
Yeah.
So they do the collision for the box truck. So anytime there's a damage, they bring it to that collision shop, and you can't just walk into the shop.
Yeah.
It's all by appointments only. They pick up from and it makes a lot of money. It's about
Okay.
they're asking $4 million, but it's a great business for someone who's in the collision business and you want to thrive and you want to make a lot of money. This place is the place, and you can take it to the next level. Owners are just, they're done with it. They've been over 30 years.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great business. That one is a great business. We have as you know, we have the venue, the Bravado
The hall.
banquet hall. Yeah,
Yep.
that one option to lease. So you can lease either the upstairs. There's a restaurant upstairs, and then the main venue downstairs. They're not considering sale right now to sell it, but with the right buyer, we might be able to talk.
I went and saw it, and
Yeah.
that piece of property.
That's when we met the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That piece of property on Gratiot can be, a multitude of things. So if I would encourage anyone that's looking for anything on Gratiot to kind of look you up
Yeah.
and check that property out. It's an amazing piece of property.
Absolutely. There's a lot of, I feel like for the right person, you just have to find the right person. That's kind of where we come in, and we talk to different people. And I try to target people who were in the industry. The problem is, most people, they feel like this would almost threaten their current business. So they feel like it wouldn't be an addition. Me, I think different. I think it would be a
yeah.
great addition to own two different corners in two different areas. And that's a completely different market. And on Gratiot,
Yeah.
than you are. You're going to have a different cultural diversity over there than you would, for example, in Warren or Sterling Heights or Troy or Rochester, versus West Bloomfield or Bloomfield Hills and all those areas. So it wouldn't be the same clientele.
What's it zoned as? Do you remember that?
Excellent question. I believe it's zoned for, so it's same zoning as a hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget the actual.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, because you have to have X amount of parking lots. You have to have
Which
X
the parking's endless.
endless over there. You see how big it is? 2 acres.
300 parking
2 acres,
parking
yeah, yeah.
spots.
You can't even use it all.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you mentioned you negotiated between two attorneys. I always kind of put attorneys in the real estate game in two different categories. There's a deal-making attorney, and then there's a deal-breaking attorney. They just have two different styles. Have you dealt with any of these kinds of guys?
And I have attorneys where every time I call them, they're on a golf trip and they don't want to answer my calls.
Yeah.
And then I have other attorneys who literally are on the phone. They answer every call.
Yeah.
And, I have a great relationship with a lot of attorneys, and a lot of them are my business partners.
Yeah.
And different investments. And big shout out to all of them, actually. Being a lawyer is a very, very difficult, man. It's so stressful. I feel like realtors and brokers and when it comes to real estate and attorneys, they kind of go through the same humps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're dealing with people, and sometimes people aren't easy to deal with either.
And they're
Right.
not forthcoming either. They're
No.
not all too
They
honest.
expect so much.
Yep.
That their expectations are like right up here, and then you're like, dude, like we got to be down here somewhere.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And and it's hard. So you got this area right now. It's how do I bring you down here? Like how do I bring you to the level where we're supposed to be in the first place? And these are challenges, but I feel like the people that are most successful are the ones that know how to overcome those challenges, the ones that are patient, and the ones that understand that we're all working, and earning our money. And how bad do you want to earn that money? How bad do you want to earn that business? And I've had a lot of relationships that were almost going to go south, but because of my patience and the resilient person that I am. And by the way, this comes from my father.
Yeah.
So he taught me how to be patient. A lot of times I'm stressed out. I want to go crazy. I literally, all I have to do is call my dad, say,
bring you back down.
Dad, like, this is what's going on. I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah.
Not literally, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
he says, son, just think about it. You know, take it easy because you're not thinking straight right now. And he knows exactly what I want to hear, and he tells it to me.
Yeah.
And then I just go back down.
There you go.
So I'm like always like right up here, but
Yeah. So what I meant was by a deal maker or a deal breaking attorney.
yeah,
There are attorneys that look for any way to make the deal happen, which is my preference.
Yes.
And then an attorney that looks for any way to make the deal not happen. And I prefer the deal makers over the deal breakers, obviously.
We all want to work with like-minded individuals at the end of
Yeah.
the day, but how often is that going to happen is the question.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't get everything you ask for.
Yeah, for sure. And you shouldn't always get everything you ask for.
Shouldn't
anyway.
expect it either,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah. For sure.
Every deal that you do in any business, you're going to have a set of challenges. And in our business, every single deal is completely unique. There's no easy deal. It's completely unique and completely different.
Yeah.
You know, we all want the guy that's going to come and say, hey, listen, I have $500,000 cash. I want to pay for this house and let's close in 7 days.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're expecting but let's just say you put that purchase agreement together and you send it out. But then the person across like, well, you know what? I want 520 and I want him to pay for my closing fees.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to stay for 30 days after closing. Guess what's going to happen to this deal?
Bye-bye.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
the guy wanted it now.
So you
Instant
think
gratification.
right away you think you have an easy deal because you
Yeah.
have cash and
There's
what
two sides.
Always. There's always challenges.
Yep.
And the ones that know how to overcome these challenges and stay positive, and that's kind of what I was telling you about the attorneys.
Yep.
The ones that know how to come, and those are the most successful attorneys. Those are the ones that I want to work with.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that
They're going to work with again.
absolutely.
Of course. That's the Golden Key Group way.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Let me see what we got in here.
We're deal makers, not deal breakers.
Exactly. So, what is this?
Can I talk to you about this for 1 second?
Please do.
So every year we do. It's a part of kind of. Big shout out to my wife. So Riva gave me the idea when we first opened the brokerage. She said you should do a big thing for the brokerage. So instead of doing a grand opening,
This is sweet.
what we actually did was we did a gala. It's a charity event that we actually do a charity event annually. So this year would be our 3rd year doing the Golden Gala. For all those that know the Golden Gala, big shout out to all of our sponsors who have been so amazing and so generous to help us put this thing together. So the Golden Gala is a big charity event that we host. Yeah, it's got the
There you go. Okay, so go Golden
big
Gal.
charity event that we host. We've done it at the Rochester Banquet Center, which were also one of our sponsors. They give us a great discount on all the food and drinks and stuff. It's a social event that hosts over 40 to 50 businesses and people. It's open to people. And all the proceeds from that event goes to a foundation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, charity foundation, yeah.
And what kind of proceeds are we talking about?
So the first year we managed to raise $25,000.
That's amazing.
The second year, $35,000.
Wow.
Close, yeah, $34,000 and $600 and some change, you know.
Yeah.
And I just got an email actually from, we selected Shlama Foundation.
Oh, nice.
And we just got an email that we were sponsoring a soccer team in northern Iraq for a Chaldean village, which is really cool.
I think I'm getting a jersey for that.
Are you?
Joe Babby, yeah.
Perfect, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. And then, our name, Golden Key, is on there.
All right.
And it's really awesome to be able to do, and I'm by no means, am I a philanthropist or anything like that, but I do,
You are actually.
I do
Turns out you are.
I love charity. And
Yeah.
I've been helping, I've been doing this for a long time, and my wife knows this. When we walk in Chicago and stuff like that, I always we used to go to Chicago quite often. That's why we have a place. My sister is studying over there, so we bought a place there.
Okay.
And I would walk and, just like, and she's like, stop getting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't see someone, and it's just my weakness, man.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a place where
Yeah, I don't think it's a weakness. I think it's a blessing to be able to give, and you're blessing people with, you know.
The greatest joy is through giving and not through receiving.
Absolutely.
I live by that,
For sure, for sure.
That's why what we do for these agents and what we provide in there, it's truly just, we are agent-focused agency, real estate firm that literally caters to the agents.
Oh, that's amazing.
You know, so that's kind of what we do, man.
That's awesome. So we do close out every show by asking, what does it mean to you to be Chaldean?
Oh, I'm very, very proud. I feel like, being Chaldean is a family, it's community, and I feel like it brings us very close to God while, in the time where everybody's going away from God.
Yeah.
That's really what it means to me.
It's sad, but great to be Chaldean.
Every single time I'm like, I'm so happy that we have these, beliefs embedded in us.
Yeah.
And learning and knowing what I know and not wanting to expose my children to such environment.
Sure.
I'm one of the people that are blessed to be able to maybe take my kids to Catholic schools and kind of shield them from certain things that are happening these days. But that's kind of what I do it for. I do it for my kids.
Yeah.
And being Chaldean, it's in my blood to know, I feel like a lot of Chaldeans know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it means to me. It's a very strong community.
It's a beautiful take on the question, an answer to the question. And this is very off the cuff now because we're supposed to end the show then and there.
Sorry, taking too long.
What has it meant to you to be the first Chaldean on the cover of GQ magazine? You're always so perfectly dressed. You dress to the nines. You're a bad dude.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
I really appreciate it. Listen, you gotta dress for the occasion.
Yeah.
If I'm not getting up in the morning, and I teach this to my son. I take my son every 2 weeks to get his hair cut. He's 5 years old, and he hates it, but I make him do it because being presented properly, you earn your respect.
Yeah.
You demand it by respecting others.
Sure.
If I'm respecting my clients, knowing that I'm putting on my suit and going and meeting them, I think that's the first testament. First impressions are everything to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like just giving them the impression that I'm dressed in my uniform and coming and showing up to the occasion, you're setting a standard for yourself right there. And that's what I've been doing my whole entire career.
Yeah. Well, you set a great example, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge and all of the things at Gold Key Group. Much success. Keep it up and keep the growth up and keep the positive attitude.
Thank you. I love this. I love the show. I love what you're doing. I love that you're bringing the community together. I'm proud and honored to be